welcome back to yet another episode of Discovery Studios, a custom theme park I'm building in Planet Coaster 2. And so far, as much as I have made these huge areas with such unique themes based on real life things, we have finally made our way to the final area of the park, that being themed to PlayStation games. And in the last episode, we built a dueling roller coaster, invert and sit down, going side by side and on top of each other, called Ratchet and Clank, based on the PlayStation game Ratchet and Clank. You see where this is going. And in this episode, I'm going to fully theme that entire ride and also add an extra ride in there too. Start to build the area entrance walkway as well, and even tell you what the next part of this huge area is going to be. So be sure you watch till the end and be sure you subscribe so you don't miss future episodes of Discovery Studios. Because we are 3/4 of the way into this series, which means there's still another quarter to go. Still probably like 5 or 6 episodes left. I thought we'd actually finish earlier, but I think there's going to be a couple more episodes than I originally thought, which is fine, because I had a lot of people in the comments saying, oh, there should be more episodes like Isle of Discovery. I mean, Isle of Discovery went on for way too long, but there might be a few more episodes than I first thought of this. But welcome back to episode 16 of Discovery Studios. Here I am in the park building the terrain for the Ratchet and Clank coasters. I don't know if you can sort of see what I've done with the colour scheme. If you remember last time, the sit-down track was actually orange, representing Ratchet, and underneath the inverted was Clank, despite the fact I said, in the games, you know, Ratchet has Clank on his back, so that made no sense, having Ratchet on Clank's back, so I switched them around, and it actually does look a lot nicer. But pretty much, as you can see, I am making a lot of terrain progress, and it's a lot of orange rock work, which usually I've used for like western terrain, or that's pretty much it. But I'm doing something different here. No western theming, because you don't really find that in the Ratchet and Clank universe, especially not the original games, which is what I'm actually basing this mini area off of. Yeah, I'm going for the original games, which means the first area in those original games, when you spawn into the game and the first little like adventure you go on per se before you get your spaceship repaired and go off to the next few planets, is called Planet Veldin. That's the area. And you start off in this garage where you've got this spaceship that's being repaired, and you basically go out into this very rocky orange terrain and just start hunting around. It's a little bit more of like a dirty rock colour, but in the newer remake, which was made 10 years ago, that makes me feel so old, it was more of like this orange rock colour, so I thought this would be really cool and very different from anywhere else in the park. So I'm doing that, as you can see, right at the start of the game as well. There's a huge crater from where Clank has actually come in from another planet. There's so many bloody planets in this game, and crash landed on Planet Veldin and creates this huge crater with loads of fire and everything. So you'll see down there in the finale of the ride, that's why that is so dug down into the ground, because I've sort of wanted to make that where that crater is. So that's quite an iconic location in the game. You start off there, obviously you meet Clank, which is why they become Ratchet and Clank, so it makes sense. And I thought it'd be perfect for the start of the two coasters, because it is the start of the game. And with that being said, as I build some crates here, which you do actually go around and smash with Ratchet's wrench, which actually is a big teaser for the ride that I'm going to put in very, very soon in this area. I literally do it in like maybe, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes, I don't know. So we'll get onto that, as I'm also building a cube with a circle in it. Which, again, if you don't know what Ratchet and Clank is, you might be very confused, but this is what is called nanotech, and if you smash one of these things, you get health. You heal. Yeah, it seems really stupid when you see it, but in the game it makes total sense. But yeah, I've had to try and make all the different planets that you do travel through whilst you're on these coasters. Try to make them seem seamless as you go through from one to the next, so it doesn't seem like you're really out of place in one and then you quickly go through and oh, it's all orange rocks everywhere. I've tried to make it as seamless as possible, and also I've had to obviously little it down to about 2 or 3 planets because there's so many in the game. So I've actually chosen to stick with this side being Planet Veldin, with this orange rocks and the garage, everything like that. That's your main area over there. But behind where this spaceship sort of is, you know, like where the sort of turnaround of the rides is after they go down that drop, if you remember the POV from last week, which you probably don't, that area that goes over there will be Planet Novalis, which is a really nice sort of modern looking planet which has like white rocks everywhere and some really nice like cyan blue buildings that are very modern as well. I really like the look of that, and I thought I had to go in there. And it's also a very iconic planet because it's the second one that you end up in the game. As I'm building the spaceship, crash down in the crater there. Had to be done. And the last planet that's in this area I will reveal later down the line, because why not? Remember, I also have to make these planets actually fit in with the PlayStation theme, because this coaster does actually run underneath and over the main entrance walkway, which we're going to build as well. So if I were to make some, I don't know, bright purple planet that's in the game, or a planet filled with lava, just would not suit it. So I've got to make it somewhat natural, which is why I went for that white rock planet, where it's got a lot of like greenery and everything, but modern buildings. And then you've also got the other one, which we'll get onto, that fits in nicely as well. Some nice fencing that I've gone and made. I thought that looked really nice, based on the, again, planet Veldin, the original planet in the game. And then as you can see, we're moving over this way. I'm surprised. I thought I was going to go and do the station building, but clearly not. It's been so long since I did this. I mean, I think I've not released an episode for about a week and a half, I think. And I'm pretty sure I built all of this bit, what you're seeing on screen right now, this piece of footage of me building. Pretty sure this happened like a week ago. So excuse my poor memory. But as you can see, I'm doing some support work in the actual crater. Obviously, with the piece count ever growing in this park, it's starting to get a little bit laggy now, which is quite fun. Half the time my game's on pause, because genuinely putting it on unpause sometimes is detrimental to my computer. But what I've done is I've decided to go for the custom support where it's needed. For instance, in that crater, there was supports everywhere and it looked disgusting. So having that one big support in the center, and then sort of like going out from that over to the certain areas where it is in the helix and everything, where it needs to go, that would work. But then the other areas where there is some just sort of standard supports, like all the way down the transfer track and the brake run, I'm just going to leave them because they do look good enough, and at the same time, less pieces, and that's going to be my downfall, especially because I've got the entire Pokemon Dark Ride still to finish, and we're starting to lag when I've only just started the final area, so yippee, I can't wait. But no, maybe one day I'll get a new computer with some better specs, and we can actually build these massive parks. I'd love to build another park like Isle of Discovery that covered the entire map. It's just not feasible with my computer at the moment, so maybe in the future, we shall see. I'm actually linking up the queue lines here, which was quite fun, because obviously with the garage setting that I'm going for in that station building, it's not supposed to be this really like confined space where all the queues need to be really neat and everything. It can just be loads of support poles everywhere, and it looks really sort of just a bit industrial, but at the same time still looks good enough to be a queue line and a station area, like really well themed. I wanted to just make it look a bit messy, because that's what garages usually are, and I've gone and done that, but you'll see that in a bit. Didn't want to bore you with just pathway supporting and everything like that, and it took me ages to do that station building. You can see how big it is in the background. So I went on to the rock work. Look at this. As you can see, the white rocks are going in. Thought these just look really modern, and with the way it's going to be literally to your left as soon as you walk into the PlayStation area, you might see these coasters and think, oh, I'm already in like a Ratchet and Clank land. But hopefully what I'm hoping is people would walk into the PlayStation land and look to the left and right and go, oh, that coaster's got some really cool theming. And then as they would turn left into the Ratchet and Clank bit, they would realise, oh, that's what that theming is. It's the different planets, but hopefully it also just ties in with PlayStation in general, because it's just a modern feel. We shall see. We'll see what you guys think anyway, because I'm happy with it, as I always say. But as you can see, trying to make these areas here, going under that bridge. I've realised with my time lapses, it's really funny because I'm so sporadic with what I do. So 1 minute I'll be looking at the underneath of that bridge thinking, oh, I could build like some pipes that go under there and make them all custom and, you know, do some stuff like that. And then that idea just goes completely out of my brain for a bit, and I just start working on rock work, and then I start looking around and I'm thinking, oh, I could do something in the middle. Nope, go back to the rocks. It's just like, my brain is so fried when I build in Planet Coaster. I'll just go from doing one thing to the next in the space of like 10 seconds. And literally as I'm saying that, it's happened again where I've gone and started making that entrance bridge. That is hilarious. But as you can see, I've decided once again to base this bridge off of part of the game of Ratchet and Clank, because there is, in Planet Novalis, which is that modern white rock planet that I'm building, there is a really cool bridge that I saw that has this weird, like, I don't even know how to explain it, but it's like, it looks like a drawbridge, but it's not. It's like a stationary drawbridge, but just the structure of it and the architecture was really nice and modern, and I thought it'd be really nice to put here. I might change the colouring of it to sort of suit the PlayStation colours more, because it's only a little bit of a darker blue, more so than that. Might fit in a little bit better, but then some of the buildings that I build later down the line that you'll see might look a bit Greek. And then we're just going back to the first area via the Discovery again. But as you can see, some fences as well, making some custom little bits there. Custom fencing really does go a long way. I like using the sort of, for queue lines anyway, I love using just the normal queue fencing, because most of the time it does the job, and it does the job really well. But when it comes to like custom fencing, like I did over at the sort of Planet Veldin area, where it's got that sort of wire on it, it's literally just the base game fences, like I've done there, but with that added like little support structure with like the wood, or with that one, the wire and the little post. It just adds so much, I think, which is really nice. And then I'm trying to make some woodwork underneath as well, just make it look a little bit more like a bridge, more like the game. And yeah, I'm really enjoying building this brand new area, because there's a lot of people have asked about me being burnt out on certain areas, and how do I not get burnt out? The thing is, I do. The reason why is because obviously building an entire area that's huge with multiple rides and multiple like pieces of theming and everything, building a huge area just based on one theme alone can be quite tough, especially once you've sort of built your main idea and then you start thinking, oh, actually, let's try and do this instead. And then you just get lost, and then you get sucked into something else, and then you just lose track, and you don't want to go back and do the other thing because the motivation's not there. I said about it in the last episode with the Pokemon Dark Ride, about 3 weeks before the previous episode, I started building the ride system, and I was like, oh, this is going really well. Then I just didn't have the time to build it, so I went off for about a week and a half, 2 weeks busy with other things, came back and thought, oh, I have the time to do this now, let me start building it. And I just didn't have the motivation, and it's happened multiple times throughout this entire project. Obviously, I know sometimes the episodes have taken a while, like with the F1 Dark Ride and the Wallace and Gromit Dark Ride. Those just took a while, like they took a very long time. But when it actually comes to, especially with how busy I am at the minute, which again I will talk all about very, very soon, I just feel like I do get burnt out on this project, and I got burnt out on our Discovery, I get burnt out on everything, Universal, Great Britain, or UK as it's now known, because I'm still stuck in the past with that project. I recently came back to that, and that's because I was burnt out on that as well. I realised I went on a massive tangent about everything and burnout and stuff, but the main point is, after about 2 minutes of me yapping, being able to build a PlayStation themed area and being able to build the small areas inside of it themed to different games means I won't get burnt out from it, because I can just build these little areas, and once I've done that I can move on to the next theme. It's really, really nice. It's why maybe with the Pokemon area, maybe I should have gone for multiple regions, but even still it's quite similar. Whereas when you've got Ratchet and Clank and then what the next game's going to be, they're totally different things. Maybe they are platformers or just still like adventure games, but they're based on different things and they are completely different in their own way. So really hoping I can go on forwards with this PlayStation area, finish it all off and make it really good, I hope. But either way, before I go into more about the next games that are coming and the changes that I've made in those games, as you can see, I have placed down another ride, and this one, I wanted a flat ride in this area. I didn't want a dark ride because I thought we've got a lot of dark rides already. I'll save that for maybe just a sole dark ride for one game in the area. I don't know. You can see the Ratchet and Clank sign there. We'll have a closer look at that when we go into real time very soon. But I thought I need a flat ride, and we don't have too many thrilling flat rides. It's more like family ones here and there. There might be like one thrill one in the park, or maybe two, especially in the DEF CON area. But there's not really many other thrill flat rides. So I thought, why not put this in? And I thought the end of this ride does actually look quite a lot like Ratchet's actual like wrench that he uses throughout the whole game. I did say it had a purpose earlier, haha, there you go. So I decided to colour the entire ride grey and make this sort of wrench-esque top to it. It's a little bit botch job at first, but we do get there. I do try a few different things just to see if I can get like the different textures instead of just using art shapes, but I decided to go for the art shapes instead, and at first I make it way too big and it looks really blocky, but we get there in the end, and it makes for a nice little flat ride as it spins round. Again, if you have any name suggestions for that and the Ratchet and Clank coaster, I am tempted to just call it Ratchet and Clank, but then the whole area is called that, so leave your thoughts in the comments. I know a load of people did suggest them in the last video, and there were some amazing names, but keep suggesting them down below. There is actually still a few coasters and rides in the park that I haven't revealed the name of yet, but I'm going to do that eventually, I do promise you that. It's just been a very stressful time at the minute, very busy, so I haven't been able to cover everything and do everything that I've wanted to do in this park, so I'm just focusing on a lot of the newer stuff, and we'll get on to sort of showing you the name for those rides later on. But as you can see, there's the wrench, just making it look a bit more flush. As you can see, it's very like, there's so many pieces missing and everything like that. I don't know what happened. I think I might have lined up one of the art shapes in the wrong way and it's just screwed it up completely. But I do add a few little sci-fi pieces here and there, and it does make it look a little bit nicer. I just think it's a really nice flat ride, you know. Is it Submission? It's not Submission, is it? It might be similar to Submission at Alton Towers. Everyone used to call that really uncomfortable, but it's a similar version, a bit more modern. And I haven't actually put one of these in any of my parks. I've never used this flat ride before, so I thought it'd be quite nice to use it, and especially with it looking like that wrench on the end would be very nice. Just a simple little ride, nothing too insane, you know. It's not as well themed into the area as some of the other rides are. Like, I made an entire funfair little bit just to stick some little flat rides in, themed to, I don't know, the Bakelite Girl and Wendeline's Walls and stuff in the Wallace and Gromit area, and obviously like the F1, like those sort of flat rides with all the gears and everything. This one is more like the DEFCON ones, where there's just a little bit of theming at the top to make it fit in, and that's all you really need. There's obviously some nice theming at the bottom, but other than that, the flat ride itself is the theming, if that makes sense. So hopefully you guys like that, because I quite like it too. Either way, let's talk a little bit about those games then. The other games in this area, of course, there's going to be 4. There was actually originally going to be 5. The other one was not a PlayStation game at all, so I don't know why I was thinking of putting it in here, but it would have been really, really cool, and maybe I'll save that IP for the next park if we do make another IP park, which I cannot sort of say or guarantee, because I don't know if I will yet. But the other 4, of course, we have Ratchet and Clank is this area. There's another one that's coming next, which I have actually already announced in another Planet Coaster video on this channel. If you want to go and check that out, you have to find it. But if you're an avid viewer, you already know what it is. And you'll know what it is anyway at the end of this video. So anyway, that one's then coming. That is a PlayStation exclusive, or was originally. And then we're going to have, look at the wrench. Oh, it's so cool. And all this modern theming. Isn't it awesome? But we're also going to have 2 other games. Now, I did mention last time that those were not really PlayStation original games. They were more so just on the PlayStation console, which doesn't really make sense for a PlayStation area. So I've actually gone back and completely changed my mind about the other 2 areas and what games they're going to be based on. I would have loved to have built those games, and I sort of don't want to say what they would have been, because I know a lot of you guys will be like, what, you should have done it anyway. They were not PlayStation games. I mean, one of them released on PC, and the other, I think, was also PC or Xbox, and they were just ported over to PlayStation, so they don't really count. If this was a full video game area, I would have done it, but it's not. So it's PlayStation. There's enough PlayStation games to go around, and I used to play PlayStation all the time as a kid. There'll be enough. So why not choose some actual PlayStation games? And some of you, I think, will really enjoy the ones that I've chosen instead. But you're going to find out what the next one is anyway in just a moment, as we head into real time to check out the full Ratchet and Clank area. So you join me here at the front of the PlayStation portal. As you can see, not complete still, because, well, if it was complete, then you'd know what every area in here is going to be. So it'd ruin the surprise. The PlayStation logo isn't spinning because I have actually decided to put it on pause, just so it's a little bit better frame rate. And as you can see, we walk in to a post. And here we are in the area. As you can see, you can look off to the left and see the two coasters, Ratchet and Clank, running all the way down in the depths of Planet Novalis. You can see those buildings as well. Quite grand and modern. And then over here as well, on the right-hand side. Oh, it's gotten stuck. Totally because I haven't paused it. It's also not dueling. What's happening to this park? But this is Planet Pokataru, which is what it's called in the game, and it's basically just a really nice tropical area with loads of water and sand over there as well. And then you've got these cool like watch out towers. What lookout, not watch out. And I've of course custom supported this as well. Some supports are a little bit weird, but I don't care as it continues twisting around itself and underneath all the pathways and everything. And then there's a knockdown building over there, one of the lookout towers, which I'm actually going to tie into the area that will be over there, but you'll see more of that when we get onto it. But we're on the PlayStation logo now, as he just froze my game. What just happened? But we'll walk into the Ratchet and Clank land, and I don't really know what to do, whether or not to have an entrance sign that says Ratchet and Clank, or just have it so you just walk in really nicely and it flows nicely, and then you realise when you get around there, as you'll see with the sign, that you are actually in the Ratchet and Clank land. As you can see, there's my sign made out of all little pieces. I don't really know how I did that, but I got there. And right in front of us is the coaster. Right now, the plaza area is very broad. There is a plan to put some extra things in here, and I do want to take some extra time to do that, but I will be doing that later down the line once I've done all the other areas, just so I know how much detail I can put in, because I think the things I want to put in have a lot of pieces included in them. So I just want to see how we go with that. You've got all the nanotech boxes around, all the crates, and then you have the ride with the wrenches. If you have any names for this, again, leave them in the comments. And I guess when it's lagging a little bit, we can have a brief look at it going round. As you can see, there it goes, spinning round nicely. This building here, I thought it'd be really nice to stick between the turnarounds of the two rides, Ratchet and Clank. And as you can see, it's a very nice building, and it would actually be a nice little eatery where you can sit outside and sit underneath the coaster and everything. Would have to put some nets up in real life, wouldn't I? Not at Discovery Studios though, because look at this. This has no nets. Go on, take loose articles on. But yeah, you can once again see all of the different areas around here. Just some really nice views, to be fair. That's quite a nice one. And then down into Planet Veldin as well. As you can see, there are the two trains. Not stuck, they're just paused. Let's unpause it for a second. Look at the lag. Isn't it incredible? Wow. There goes the rides. I love how those elements work into each other. And then, yeah, those trains head back into the station building, which I haven't actually showed you yet, but I'm going to now. As you can see, Ratchet or Clank, you can choose whichever way. I'm going to go for Clank. Let's just do that for now. The queue sort of goes up into the terrain, and again, you can get some really nice views through there as well, the two lift hills. And then you continue all the way up into the garage. As you can see here, I have been hard at work trying to make this look a little bit more like spacey, a little bit sci-fi, but at the same time a bit messy, so it is more of a garage. You've got the supports of this sort of pathway that just run to random places around, and then you've got the coaster running all the way down there as well. I do love how it's so open. I was tempted to make it an individual garage for the stations and this, but I think it works quite nicely as is. There you go. It's sort of my first go at a bit of a sci-fi theme in this park, and just in general, which I've really enjoyed. And with that being said, I'm going to take you on for a ride. Oh, for God's sake, not again. Yeah, I can't lie to you, I've been having a lot of issues. When I say the game's lagging a lot and I'm going further in this park, my main issue is that it keeps crashing, which obviously isn't a good sign. And literally, as I got on the ride, it crashed. So here's a POV of both of them without me speaking over it, which some of you might be thankful for. And right at the end, I will reveal the next area coming to the PlayStation land. Enjoy Ratchet and Clank.